Hello everybody, my name is Dennis Hagens. I'm a systems engineer at Aviatrix. And oftentimes I've been asked when customers are deploying our solution, the Aviatrix Transit solution, and they're deploying new infrastructure in cloud, whether they can integrate that with some sort of an IP address management tool like Infoblox to automatically assign the IP space that can be used for deployment. And I've set up a little demo environment for you today where I can show you how you can easily do that with the Terraform integration. So we're using Terraform today to deploy the Aviatrix infrastructure. And you'll see that we use Terraform as well to allocate IP space dynamically from the Infoblox IPAM appliance. So we've got our Infoblox IPAM appliance here. As you can see, I'm in the data management IPAM view, so I can see all of the networks that I've created here, and I can see I've got some networks for my HQ, some networks created here for Azure regions, but I've got this one that I'm interested in today that is a network for the AWS region 2. So right now this is an empty network container of 10.16.00/12. So there's nothing allocated here, but if my network administrators want to deploy anything in AWS in region 2, I want them to allocate space from this prefix, from this CIDR. But I don't want them to log into the Infoblox appliance, come here and manually have to register the network every time because they'll forget it, or they might not clean things up if they delete them again. So I want to have this in a more automated way. And that's what we're going to do today through Terraform. So let me go back to that network. As I mentioned, it is empty now, but you'll see that we will create the allocations here later on. So if we look at the Terraform code, what we have here is we've described that we want to deploy some Aviatrix Transit, and we want to deploy some Aviatrix Spoke gateways, as well as the VPCs in this case. So instead of having to manually put in the CIDR that I want to use here, and then have to go to the Infoblox appliance to register that I use that, or the other way around, that I first have to claim that and then come back here and put in that CIDR, I'm actually referring to a Infoblox IPv4 network resource that we're creating here in Terraform as well. And what this does is it goes out to the Terraform appliance through the Terraform provider to the Infoblox appliance through the Terraform provider from Infoblox. And it will look up this parent CIDR, which is the network container that we were just looking at. So this is the AWS region 2 container that we have allocated for anything that we want to deploy in AWS in that region 2. And it's going to request a new allocation of prefix length 23, so a /23 network. And it's going to send these extended attributes to provide some context of what this is. So we'll tell the Infoblox appliance, please, when you register this new IPv4 network, set the site extended attribute to region 2 AWS Transit. So we know that this is used for the AWS region 2 Transit. And for my spokes, of which I'm actually going to create 3, I'm doing something similar. So I'm referring again to that IPv4 object that we create here, that IPv4 network, and I'm creating 3 resources actually. Again, I'm referring to that same parent network. Could have been a different network container. So if you want to split spokes and transit out to different allocations, you can do that. And in this case, I'm going to request a /24 network for each of the spokes that I want to deploy. And in this case, I am setting the site extended attribute to region 2 spoke, and then I'm using some Terraform magic that refers to the count that we actually have, that we use for creating these resources. It's a very simple example, but just to show you what that could look like. Just to give you a bit more complete overview, the way to set up the provider. For Infoblox, you can see right here, so you set up the username, password, and the server. Similar for the Aviatrix controller, but you might already be familiar with that. And then, of course, make sure that you configure your required provider so that Terraform can download the provider files from the Terraform registry. Right. So let's just go ahead and execute this. This will probably run for a couple of minutes. I'll fast forward the recording, and then we'll see what the results look like. All right, so it looks like that has been completed. It took us a couple of minutes. but it's deployed all of the resources that we've defined here. So let's have a look at what it looks like in the controller. So the Aviatrix controller, we should have our gateways deployed. So there we go. We can see that we have a transit gateway and 3 spoke gateways deployed as per our Terraform code. You can also see that these networks are being used, but we'll actually show that in the IPAM as well. So you see spoke 1 is using the 2.0/24, spoke 2 the 4, and spoke 3 the 3. So let's go to the IPAM environment. So let's go back into that container. And where this previously was completely blank, now you see that we've got like 4 networks defined here. So if I click the first one and just edit this, you'll see that 10.16/0/23 is the CIDR that has been selected here, as we can see on top here as well. And then on the extensible attributes, we can see that the site has been set to region 2 AWS transit, as we saw in the Terraform code. All right, so let's have a look at these spoke assignments. So let's just take this one and edit it. And here we can see 10.16.2/24 is the prefix. And on the extensible attributes, we can see this is region 2 spoke 1. So you can see that it has registered which spoke is being used. And we should see the same, of course, for the other 2. So let me just take this one, 10.16.4, which should be our spoke 2, as you saw in the Aviatrix environment as well. So that was spoke 2, as you can see right here. All right, so that's just an easy way to integrate Infoblox into the Terraform environment so that we can leverage that for IP assignment, IP allocation for deploying Aviatrix resources. So I hope you found this session useful. Let me know if you've got any questions. You can reach me at dennis@aviatrix.com. Thank you.